So is your ice maker making this sound, but it's dropping 0 ice? Or maybe the ice blocks have been progressively getting smaller and smaller. Or maybe it even keeps on cutting out. Let me know down in the comments. Now, you might think that your ice maker is completely broken, but the fix could actually be surprisingly simple. And in this video, I'll quickly show you how to test the faulty component, swap it out for a replacement, and get your ice maker up and running again in no time at all. And I'll show you a real life video of how I was able to fix this ice maker while we were camping.
Well, the light's gonna work.
Okay. Yeah, all we worried about is the lights.
Yeah, either the lights or the fan's gonna work.
The fan doesn't turn and the lights come on.
So this is a countertop ice maker that used to make ice once upon a time, but as time went by, the ice blocks got gradually smaller and smaller until eventually it didn't make any ice blocks anymore. And it also sounded like the compressor was kind of dying and it was a little bit noisy, but the real culprit is hidden inside, and it's actually a faulty cooling fan. So hidden on the left side of the machine under the covers is a fan, and this fan should be spinning, drawing air through the condenser coils and cooling them off so that the machine can make ice, but it's not. It is completely dead, and without this fan cooling the system, the compressor overheats and the ice making process completely shuts down. You can see the fan try to start spinning when the compressor kicked in, where the blades slightly bumped forward, but then nothing after that. So step one is to open up the machine and test if the fan is getting power. Now I've already moved the back cover, and if you want to see how this is done, I've got another video showing this. I'll link that video at the end of this video and also in the video description. The circuit board will also likely have a little plastic cover over it. You just need to unscrew and remove it like this. Once that's removed, I'll go ahead and trace the fan wires back to the circuit board to find where it plugs in, because we need to test if the fan is getting power. Now I'll turn on the machine, wait for the ice tray to cycle up and fill with water, and wait for the machine to start trying to make ice again. And once the compressor is running, I'll take a multimeter, I'll set it to measure DC voltage, and then I'm going to stick the red and the black probe leads into where the fan wires are plugged in, and I'm going to measure for voltage. And as you can see right here, the multimeter shows 11.54 volts. So power is being supplied to the fan, but it's not spinning. So it must be a faulty fan. Step 2 is to unscrew and remove the faulty fan. Now you may notice that this looks a little bit clumsy and I'm not using a proper screwdriver, and this is basically because I'm trying to repair the ice maker while we were on holiday camping, and I only had a very limited set of tools with me. Also, something to note here, it can be very, very dangerous poking around inside an appliance that is plugged in and turned on. Kind of worst case scenario, you could end up electrocuting yourself. So if you aren't competent and confident on working with electronics, rather don't risk it. Rather go find yourself a friend that is competent and that they can help you. And maybe while they're helping you out, they're able to teach you a thing or two about working on electronics. Now there are also some cable ties that are holding the wires that need to be cut so the fan can be completely removed. And here is a close-up of the exact fan connector that I'm unplugging. Now, if your connector is slightly different, not to worry, just trace the fan wires back to the circuit board and then unplug it from the circuit board. Now for good measure, I'm testing the fan once again using a separate 12-volt battery, and by testing it this way, we confirm that the main control board is perfectly fine and the fan itself is officially dead. So what caused this fan to fail? Well, I've seen this a couple of times before, and it's because of the way the fan is mounted in the ice maker. So this is normally mounted towards the bottom of the ice maker, and this is facing the top. And you'll often get water condensation that runs down these wires. It runs into the little gap here, and it goes onto the circuit board, and it corrodes the circuit board on the fan, and then eventually it stops working. So I thought, let me open this one up and see if the same has happened. So here's the inside of the fan, and if we have a look here, this one doesn't look too bad. So normally the condensation runs down these wires and then it corrodes everything inside the fan. So really this one doesn't look too bad. However, if we look on the other side here, there's a little There's a little RC here. It is kind of difficult to see, but there's a little bit of heat signature or staining there on the circuit board. So something has definitely got hot in this area, and this little RC has probably failed, and that's what's caused the fan to fail. Step 3 is to install a new fan, but because it was over the holidays and we were far out of town, this is the only fan that I could get on short notice. Now, it is a 12-volt computer fan, but it's not a very good quality one, and it also didn't have the right plug on it. So I had to cut the wires off and join on the old plug. Now, it would definitely be better to solder or crimp these wires together and insulate them with maybe a bit of heat shrink, but because we were camping, resources, like I say, were a little bit limited, but using a little bit of tape to insulate the joints will work just fine in this case.
This will work fine.
This will work fine.
Well, the light's gonna work.
Okay. Oh, yeah, all we worried about the lights.
Yeah.
Step 4 is to plug the fan back onto the circuit board and to check if it works.
Plug it in quickly, we want to test it.
Okay, we're
Plug
gonna
it in
plug this
now.
thing in. Where's the lead? Plug it in. Let's see if it'll work.
Test it before you screw it on.
Yeah. Hopefully this works. I don't know. Either the lights or the fan's gonna work.
The fan doesn't turn and the lights come on.
Okay. That thing is live. You'll see when this thing starts moving, then it'll start the R cycle. This thing here. Should be pretty soon. Yay! Look at that. Fan's working.
Which way are you going to put it then?
No lights. But there's fan movement.
The lights on, man.
It's very pup.
Now, I also had to modify this fan slightly to get it to fit, but it is likely that the replacement fan that you get will fit without any modification. In this case, I had to make the best with what I could get. Once the fan is screwed back into place, all that is left to do is cable tie the wires back into place, screw all of the covers back on, and test the ice maker to see if it makes ice once again. I will leave links to a few spare parts for these ice makers and a few commonly used tools in this video's description, so hopefully that does help you out. And if you do use these links, it does help support the channel, so I want to say thank you very much for that. Also, if you are finding the video useful so far, give it a thumbs up, hit that like button, and leave us a comment. Tell us about the problem with your ice maker and let's see if we can get it fixed. So, has the repair been successful? Well, with everything back together, let's plug it in and see if it actually works. Now, I've turned the ice maker on, and after the tray fills up with water, the compressor should start running and the fan should also start spinning. And thankfully, it does. And if you listen carefully, you can hear the compressor isn't as noisy anymore. And about 10 minutes later, we have our first batch of ice. So, if your ice maker is running a little bit noisy and it's making less ice than usual, or even making no ice at all, check the fan first. That fan needs to be spinning for the machine to work properly. But if your ice maker still isn't making ice, you need to go ahead and watch this video right here about another 10 common problems and how to fix them. Thanks very much for watching. We'll see you next time. Cheers.